A lively night market scene in an ancient Chinese-style city with people walking around and chatting. Lanterns are floating into the sky, and the crowd admires the beautiful scene. A man with a mustache is aggressively eating a large steamed bun. People in the market look surprised and concerned about something. A man nervously suggests stopping someone, indicating a possible issue. A huge stack of empty plates suggests someone has been eating an enormous amount. A large man is devouring food while crying, enjoying his feast intensely. Two men discuss him, saying he's a well-known figure in Henan. One man laughs at the other for judging people based on appearances. Gold coins and treasures float as someone talks about a legendary figure. A large man, surrounded by wealth, is revealed to have unified all merchant unions in Henan. The crowd is shocked by this revelation. The man is identified as Yong Wajen, the Grand Merchant of the Sky Ocean Merchant Union. A woman suddenly shouts "Stop!" and points at him. She angrily scolds him for eating an excessive amount of food. She begs him to stop, fearing for his health, while recalling his once handsome appearance. Yong Wajen, with a dark aura, insists that if he stops eating, something will haunt him. The woman looks shocked as she recalls a traumatic memory. She reaches out, possibly trying to connect with Yong Wajen. She yells at him, questioning if he wants to die by continuing his self-destructive lifestyle. Yong Wajen looks emotional as he recognizes her, calling her Yonhwa. A carriage travels through a dark forest, hinting at a past event. A pair of hands holds onto some beads, possibly reminiscing about the past. Inside the carriage, Yong Wajen admits that his wealth now feels meaningless. He confesses that his gluttony and riches were just ways to mask a deep emotional wound. He reflects that losing people leaves an unhealed pain, and despite everything, he still has nightmares about that day. The woman, Yonhwa, calls him young master with a concerned expression. Yong Wajen smirks slightly, exhaling as he listens. He acknowledges that it's been a long time since he became the head of the Sky Ocean Merchant Union, yet she still calls him young master. Yonhwa insists he will always be the young master of the Tianzheng clan to her. He reflects on their past, recalling how she followed him even after he married into another family, showing her loyalty. He touches a deep scar on his neck, expressing that without her, he would have died long ago. A flashback reveals the destruction of the Tianzheng clan, engulfed in flames. He remembers his family, yet he admits he despised them. He reveals his deep hatred toward his father, more than anyone else in the world. A statue is placed in Yong Wajen's place, showing his rejection of his family. He tells people to direct his father to the statue instead of him. He recalls turning his back on his family completely, despite being the eldest son of a martial arts clan. He was forced into an arranged marriage with the Sky Ocean Merchant Union and accepted it without resistance. Years later, the Tianzheng clan was attacked by the Dabi sect. He watched his home burn, realizing the weight of what was happening. As much as he hated his father, he also deeply loved him. Overcome with emotions, he smashes his head into the statue, crying. A young boy desperately calls for him to stop, fearing he will die. He collapses in front of the statue, devastated. A carriage speeds through the forest, suggesting urgency. Yong Wajen declares his determination to change. He wants to mend his relationship with his wife and lose weight. He acknowledges he has spent enough time grieving and now wants to focus on his remaining family, though he worries about his wife's reaction. Yonhwa looks touched as he calls her family. Suddenly, an intense attack occurs, catching Yong Wajen off guard. He is thrown into the air mid-shout as the carriage is violently struck. The carriage is destroyed in the attack. Yong Wajen is flung from the wreckage, screaming. He crashes onto the ground, groaning in pain. A white-haired warrior swiftly moves through the forest, evading an attack. He barely dodges a deadly projectile as he leaps against a tree. Wounded and bleeding, he acknowledges his injuries, realizing his internal organs are severely damaged. 3 assassins swiftly approach, preparing to strike. Despite his injuries, the warrior glares fiercely, ready to fight. He clashes with one of the assassins in an intense battle. One assassin warns him that there's no escape. The warrior, betrayed, angrily questions his attacker before being struck. He is overwhelmed, pinned against a tree with swords piercing his body. A masked assassin mocks the dying warrior, calling him the almighty demonic master. The warrior, bleeding and enraged, curses the blood demon castle. He unleashes a powerful attack, engulfing the area in fiery energy. In the aftermath, a wounded man lies on the ground. The man, struggling to move, turns out to be the merchant leader, barely surviving. He spots something ahead, a familiar figure. Yonghua, severely injured, lies on the ground. The merchant rushes to her in shock, screaming her name. Yonghua, barely conscious, weakly reacts to his presence. Yong Hwajin holds a dying woman, shocked and devastated. He screams in despair, cursing his misfortune. The battlefield is covered in blood and bodies. A wounded old man crawls, searching for a new body. He prepares to use the spirit possession technique before he dies. He curses his fate, questioning if this is his end. A furious Yong Hwajin confronts him. He blames the old man for his family's death. Enraged, he grabs him, demanding an answer. The old man weakly murmurs something. Suddenly, dark energy surges as he activates a powerful technique. Yong Hwajin prepares to fight, his energy flaring up. The old man strikes with a pressure point attack, catching Hwajin off guard. Hwajin collapses, realizing something is wrong. His body becomes paralyzed, unable to move. The old man, now surrounded by a dark aura, taunts him. Hwajin regrets losing his temper, knowing the old man is a martial artist. The old man prepares to use the spirit possession technique for the last time. He regrets not finding a better body, but has no choice. He places his hands on Yong Hwajin, determined to survive. He channels 160 years of martial essence into his left hand. His spirit and soul concentrate in his right hand. A blinding red energy erupts from his body. His soul transfers, leaving behind trails of red mist. Yong Hwajin wakes up, while the old man collapses. Hwajin clenches his fist, sensing something different. Yong Hwajin's eye glows red, showing a sinister transformation. He smirks, believing he has successfully taken over the body. Suddenly, he feels resistance. Hwajin fights back. The old man's spirit hovers above, shocked by Hwajin's willpower. Hwajin refuses to die, determined to survive and avenge his clan. Their spirits clash, red against blue, in a battle for control. The old man is overwhelmed, his consciousness fading. A masked swordsman appears, watching the aftermath. He recognizes the demonic master's body transferability. A masked assassin attacks, aiming to kill Hwajin. The spirit possession is nearly complete, but the assassin strikes. Hwajin is stabbed, coughing up blood. A powerful energy explosion shakes the forest. Suddenly, Hwajin wakes up under a bright sky, his head aching. He finds himself in an unfamiliar apothecary. His throat is dry, and he instinctively drinks. The bitter taste makes him realize it's medicine. Confused, he wonders what has happened to him. The man wakes up confused, reaching out to an empty bed. A loud scream echoes outside, disturbing the peaceful morning. He sits up in shock, surrounded by shattered pieces on the floor. Staring at his hands, he realizes something is strange about them. A young girl rushes into the room, concerned for his well-being. She explains that she heard something break and came running. He is shocked to see her looking much younger than he remembers. Still in disbelief, he assumes that everything must be a dream. Stepping on the broken shards, he winces in pain as reality sinks in. He realizes he stepped on sharp shards, but the pain feels oddly real. A sudden realization dawns on him, making him question the reality of his situation. His expression shifts as he starts suspecting something unusual. His golden eyes widen in shock as a terrifying thought crosses his mind. Ignoring his wounded foot, he walks outside as the girl calls out to him in concern. Staring at a statue, he struggles to comprehend the impossible truth. A memory floods his mind, tears stream down his face as he recalls a tragic past. In the flashback, he desperately clings to someone, screaming in agony. He reaches out towards the statue as if trying to confirm something from his past. The girl looks at him in surprise as he calls out her name. He questions the existence of the statue, wondering when he placed it there. The girl hesitantly informs him that it has been 5 days since an event he seems to have forgotten. Determined to uncover the truth, he resolves to find out for himself. A dark aura engulfs him as he suddenly experiences an overwhelming surge of emotions. In a furious outburst, he smashes his forehead against the statue, shattering it. His rage intensifies as power surges through him, causing destruction around him. The girl watches in horror as he collapses to the ground, overwhelmed by the impact. With blood dripping from his face, he finally realizes the truth: he has somehow returned to the past. As he stares at the shattered statue, he realizes he has 3 years before disaster strikes. Bloodied but determined, he acknowledges that his clan's downfall is inevitable unless he acts. The onlookers, including Yonhwa, watch in shock as the scene unfolds before them. With unwavering resolve, he vows to protect his people and the Tianzhong clan at all costs. The Tianzhong clan, a once powerful martial clan, resided near Tianzhong Mountain. The people of Henan once highly revered them, calling them the Tianzhong Yong clan. Over time, the clan's reputation faded, and they were no longer praised. A sigh of reflection accompanies the realization that 30 years have already passed. Yong, the head of the Tianzhong clan, laments the absence of strong martial artists since elder Yong Gosen's time. He acknowledges that their clan has become a mere shadow of its former glory. A woman expresses hope that Heir will recover and lead them toward a better future. Yong admits his son resents him, feeling guilt over his quick remarriage after his wife's death. The woman reassures him with a smile, suggesting that patience is necessary for healing. He reflects on how time has only deepened the emotional distance between him and his son. Recalling his last visit, he remembers how his son placed a statue in the garden, refusing to meet him. Just as he begins to lament, a panicked voice calls out to him from a distance. Yonhwa rushes toward them in distress, prompting concern from the clan head. Tearfully, Yonhwa struggles to explain that something terrible has happened to young Master Heir. The revelation that Heir is injured and unconscious leaves everyone in shock. Inside his room, Heir lies motionless in his bed, his condition unknown. Slowly regaining consciousness, he groans, still reeling from his previous ordeal. A peaceful waterfall cascades down as someone floats in the water below. A joyful memory unfolds as Heir plays in the waterfall with his mother. Excitedly, young Heir catches a giant koi fish and proudly shows it to his mother. His eyes widen in realization as he clutches the fish, sensing something is wrong. He looks around in confusion, calling out for his mother, who is motionless on the rocks. In a darkened room, Heir's mother lies weak in bed, calling out to him. She gently reaches out, comforting her tearful son as he apologizes. Heir clings to his mother, relieved as she reassures him that everything is okay. With a mix of sorrow and determination, he orders himself to stop crying. A terrifying figure grabs Heir by the neck, calling him weak with a menacing glare. With a monstrous grin, the figure threatens to take Heir's head as a prize. Heir jolts awake in terror, screaming from the nightmare. Gasping for breath, he sweats in shock as he processes what just happened. He looks around, realizing he is in a room that feels both familiar and distant. The furniture and surroundings confirm that this is his childhood room. Sitting on the bed, he acknowledges the shocking truth: he has returned to the past. Memories of his resentment toward his father and isolation from his family flood his mind. A gruesome vision of his father's death and the fall of his clan resurfaces, filling him with dread. The protagonist, with determined eyes, believes he can change the future because he already knows what will happen. He looks shocked as a mysterious red energy begins to surge around him unexpectedly. Two girls gossip in disbelief about someone destroying a statue just by headbutting it. One of the girls insists she saw it with her own eyes, despite rumors that the person in question had always been sick and never learned martial arts. The protagonist makes a dramatic entrance, spreading his arms wide, as the girls suspect he might be possessed. The protagonist approaches the two girls menacingly, making them nervous about what they just said. He suddenly experiences an overwhelming surge of energy in his lower dantian, making him feel hot and confused. In shock, he panics at the strange sensation and the bizarre realization that he feels the need for a woman. Sitting alone in a dimly lit room, he reflects on how, during this time in the past, he should have been too weak to even walk. A powerful old man with glowing red eyes senses a familiar overwhelming energy, realizing it is manifesting as Yong energy. The protagonist struggles to contain the excessive energy surging through his body, fearing its consequences. In a desperate attempt to prevent himself from losing control, he dashes away at full speed. The two girls, worried and bewildered, comment on how he shouldn't be running around in such thin clothing in the cold. The protagonist sprints through a bamboo forest, trying to escape the overwhelming energy inside him. He pushes himself to run faster, fearing that the old man's energy might consume him completely. His foot lands firmly on the ground as he reaches an important place. He jumps into a body of water, causing a massive splash, seemingly to cool down his overheated body. Emerging from the water, he lets out a desperate cry as steam rises around him, indicating the intensity of his internal struggle. The protagonist exhales deeply as steam rises from his body, finally regaining control over himself. He smiles with relief, realizing that he has managed to save himself from being consumed by the overwhelming energy. His golden eyes widen in shock as someone calls out the name Heir. His father rushes towards him, surprised to see him standing in the water. His father urgently asks what he is doing, concerned about his well-being. With a stern yet worried expression, his father questions whether he is trying to die by doing something so reckless in the cold. With tears in his eyes, the protagonist responds with heartfelt sincerity, telling his father that he missed him. He hesitates, realizing that suddenly acting affectionate would seem strange to everyone. Determined, he resolves to gradually get closer to his father in a natural way instead of rushing things. The protagonist embraces his father tightly, vowing to rebuild their bond slowly. Holding on to his father, he struggles to express his emotions, hesitating as he tries to speak. As onlookers watch, he declares that he is back, hoping this moment is real and not just a dream. 3 months later, the protagonist and a companion sit peacefully on a wooden dock, fishing by the lake under a serene sky. Yong teases his older half-brother, Yong about winning a bet. A flashback reveals that the Tianzhong clan lost power and became a branch of another clan. The speaker regrets not being able to help his family. Kijung worries about Heir stopping his medicine, but Heir claims it made him fat. Kijung is shocked and questions when Heir was ever fat, realizing it was a misunderstanding. Kijung happily tells Heir that he likes how he's been recently. Kijung wins the fishing bet against Heir, taking his money. Heir, refusing to lose, overturns the fish baskets in frustration. Heir throws Kejung into the water, jokingly calling him a big fish. Kejung splashes into the water from the impact. Heir, now amused, realizes Kejung is actually quite bright despite his antics. Heir regrets putting too much burden on Kejung and silently apologizes. Heir trains hard, focusing on push-ups to build strength. Before resuming martial arts, Heir ensures he's physically fit through intense workouts. Heir meditates under a waterfall, concerned about past incidents with energy surges. After meditation, he notices something unusual nearby. Yong Heir's younger half-sister, appears, bringing something for him. Heir tells Seolin she doesn't need to do this, but she happily says she enjoys being friends with him. Heir reflects on his past life, regretting how he treated Seolin despite her kindness. Seolin happily invites Heir to a festival, but he rudely interrupts her. Heir coldly rejects Seolin, telling her never to ask him again. Seolin cries after being rejected twice by her brother. A hairpin falls, marking Heir's last interaction with her. Seolin was murdered on her way to the festival, and their father was later assassinated. Heir recalls the timeline, realizing Seolin will be killed at the upcoming Yong clan festival. Heir asks Seolin about the Moon Festival, remembering what's about to happen. Seolin is overjoyed that Heir wants to go with her, thinking he had forgotten. Heir agrees to go with Seolin and suggests shopping for her. Determined, Heir sees this as a second chance and vows to prevent past mistakes. Under the full moon, he realizes he must grow stronger to change the future. Heir envisions himself as a powerful warrior, determined to protect his family and restore his clan's honor. A group of trainees is marching in formation, possibly part of a martial arts training session. The protagonist recalls how he used to be weak, staying indoors, drinking herbal medicine, and reading books. He reflects on how his life has changed, attributing his transformation to the energy he received from an old man. Now stronger, he feels eager to test his improved body and abilities. While running, he hears someone call his name. It's his father. His father is surprised by his transformation and expresses pride in his growth. The protagonist is embarrassed as his father openly praises him in front of others. His father suggests that instead of just physical training, he should start formally learning the family's martial arts. The protagonist agrees, and his father happily decides to assign him an instructor. The protagonist confidently tells his father that he already has someone in mind to train him. A young girl excitedly runs toward him, calling out, "Brother." The girl hugs him tightly, ignoring their father, who watches with amusement. Their father feels ignored as the girl now prioritizes her brother, showing off the outfit he picked for her. Their father playfully complains, but the girl reassures him with a sweet remark. The protagonist reflects that just having a stronger body isn't enough. He needs real strength to protect himself. A red-haired warrior displays immense sword skills, emphasizing the importance of learning martial arts. The red-haired warrior performs an extremely powerful sword technique, launching an energy attack. The warrior is sweating and looks focused after demonstrating their skill. The warrior, revealed as Yong, also known as the Dragon Flower Sword, questions why the protagonist has come to such a humble place. The protagonist, Yong Lord, greets her and says it's been a long time. He asks for a favor. He cheerfully mentions hearing that she has recovered, confirming that she looks well. Yong finds it strange since they've never had a proper conversation before, yet now he's suddenly asking for a favor. Yong is surprised by the protagonist's martial talent, wondering if he was always this skilled. She observes that he has mastered 2 advanced sword techniques in just a few days. She is puzzled because he never seemed suited for martial arts before. The protagonist is exhausted, breathing heavily after his intense training. He confidently asks his master for her opinion on his progress. Mo Bai-young acknowledges that while he hasn't fully grasped the techniques, his rapid progress is impressive. The protagonist laughs humbly, feeling flattered by the compliment. Mo Bai-young looks serious, as if analyzing something deeper. A terrifying red aura appears, possibly indicating a powerful enemy or hidden danger. Mo Bai-young is amazed at how fast the young lord is mastering martial arts. She recalls that he was recently bedridden, making his rapid improvement unbelievable. The protagonist looks serious, seemingly aware of the doubts about his progress. Mo Bai-young focuses on the mysterious red energy she noticed. The protagonist, looking slightly uncomfortable, brushes off the topic, saying he already explained it before. He vaguely claims he doesn't remember much, blaming it on being struck multiple times during training. He jokingly remarks that only Mo Bai-young would treat the eldest son of the family so roughly. Mo Bai-young remains silent, her expression unreadable. She finally decides to drop the topic, saying she won't ask any further since he refuses to explain. Mo Bai-young declares that she will closely monitor the protagonist's every move from now on. The protagonist playfully responds, saying that sounds a bit scary. A nighttime scene shows a quiet and well-lit building. The protagonist reflects on his training, realizing that using the Flying Dragon Emperor Sword and Azure Bamboo Sword gives him a certain feeling. While studying martial arts books, he discovers that the Tianzhong sex techniques are incomplete. He learns that the sex martial arts originally came from demonic arts. A flashback introduces the founder of the Tianzhong sect, a chivalrous warrior from Henan. The founder was taught two demonic arts by a protector of the hidden sacred sect, which was neither orthodox nor demonic. Despite learning demonic arts, the founder remained a chivalrous warrior. The founder of the Tianzhong sect modified the demonic techniques and recreated them as the Flying Dragon Emperor Sword and Azure Bamboo Sword. Although the power of the techniques was reduced, he still became the greatest swordsman of Henan. Using demonic arts with an orthodox mindset resulted in incomplete martial arts, making true transcendence nearly impossible. The founder kept the origins of these techniques a secret. However, as time passed, the truth about their demonic origins was exposed. This revelation led to the destruction of the Tianzhong sect. The protagonist clenches his fist in determination while studying the martial arts. He realizes that there is a way to complete and perfect these unfinished techniques. With excitement and determination, he declares that he has found the answer to perfecting the martial arts. A peaceful outdoor scene where the protagonist is having tea with his father and another person. The protagonist announces his plan to visit the Zhuge family. His father is surprised and asks why he wants to visit them. The protagonist explains that since he has regained his health through martial arts, it is appropriate for him to visit as he is betrothed to someone from the Zhuge family. His father reminisces that even before he was born, a betrothal was arranged with the Zhuge family, and he tries to recall the name of Yuzhuo's daughter. A man's reflection appears in a cup of tea as someone recalls his closest friend, Zhuge Yuzhuo. A man remarks on a rumored woman's extraordinary beauty while appearing intrigued. A man, seated at a table, asks another person about their departure plans. A woman expresses concern about sending Heir away too soon after her recovery. The man insists that Heir, now of age, should travel and make new acquaintances. The woman agrees but urges caution, emphasizing the importance of Heir's safety. A red-haired woman looks serious and intense, possibly preparing for confrontation. A young man excitedly greets Master Mo Bai-young while inquiring about two people behind him. Two imposing figures, including the red-haired woman, approach, catching the young man off guard. The warriors inspect the young man's physique, commenting on its firmness. A confident smirk suggests amusement or intrigue from one of the warriors. The warriors express their surprise that the young lord has started martial arts training. The young man acknowledges them as the twin sun sword demons and looks forward to working with them. The warriors assure the young lord of their protection, while one notes his potential for growth. The twin sun sword demons, Jeongwook and Namwook, proudly display their impressive physiques. The young lord asserts his authority, stating that he will determine the route for their journey. One of the warriors listens intently, processing the young lord's decision. A warrior confidently reassures the young lord that they would never object to his leadership. The young lord, leading a group on horseback, walks through a bamboo grove as he departs. A young girl tearfully begs her brother not to leave, visibly upset. The brother gently reassures her, promising to spend time with her during the central festival. With a warm smile, he confidently promises to keep his word. Two elders watch over the young lord with proud and affectionate expressions. The young lord calls out to Jijung, getting his attention. He entrusts Jijung with the responsibility of looking after their family in his absence. Jijung, deep in thought, wonders if his brother has always been this imposing. Jijung confidently promises to protect the family with his life. The young lord bids farewell to his father, mother, and siblings before departing. He respectfully bows and announces his departure to his family. The group sets off on horseback, riding away from their home. Someone urgently calls out for them to stop, catching the young lord's attention. A sharp and intense close-up of his golden eye shows his alertness. An old, worn-out gate with a broken sign appears, hinting at an abandoned place. A carriage moves toward a grand palace under a red sky, creating an ominous atmosphere. Inside the carriage, a mysterious figure with long dark hair sits with a shadowed face, exuding an eerie presence. A desperate voice cries out, "Young Lord," as a door slams open. Under a blood-red sky, a bowing servant pleads before a carriage with a mysterious figure inside. The servant, overwhelmed with emotion, begs to accompany the young lord. Exhausted from running, the servant catches up while the young lord glances back. The young lord, surprised, recognizes the servant and calls out their name, Yonhwa. A close-up shows the young lord hesitating in response to the situation. One of the warriors warns that allowing a maid to accompany them would be inappropriate. The young lord approaches Yonhwa, who stands anxiously in the bamboo forest. A dramatic moment as the young lord reaches out towards Yonhwa, who braces herself. The young lord unexpectedly embraces Yonhwa, leaving her surprised. Yonhwa looks shocked and wide-eyed as she processes the sudden hug. The red-haired woman and the warrior observe the scene with curiosity and concern. The young lord expresses his gratitude for Yonhwa's unwavering support. He gently explains that his journey is dangerous and he cannot take her along. Yonhwa is visibly moved as he calls her an important part of his family. The young lord asks her to wait with their family for just a little while. With tears of acceptance, Yonhwa smiles and agrees to his request. As the young lord departs on horseback, he reflects on how everything will change upon his return to the Tianzhong sect. With a determined gaze, the young lord vows to protect his family and prevent his clan's downfall. He acknowledges that his journey begins with mastering his clan's incomplete martial arts. The young lord rides his horse with fierce determination, leading his group forward. While galloping through the bamboo forest, he internally admits that visiting the Zhuge family is merely an excuse. He reflects on how Mount Yangzheng, the home of the Zhuge family, is close to Mount Wudang. The young lord realizes that the key to perfecting his clan's martial arts lies in Mount Wudang. A breathtaking view of the towering Wudang Mountains signifies their upcoming destination. The man finds himself floating in a mysterious, serene blue expanse, unsure of where he is. He slowly walks on the water, gazing at the endless sky in a dreamlike state. His expression turns serious as he starts to realize something unsettling. He notices a wooden sign floating in the water, partially submerged. Picking up the broken wooden piece, he looks at it in shock as recognition dawns on him. He realizes the name on the sign belongs to the Tianzhong clan, triggering a strong reaction. A terrifying scene unfolds as he sees the clan engulfed in flames. Desperately, he wades through the fire and water, unable to believe what he is witnessing. Overcome with grief, he runs toward the burning structure, screaming in despair. A fiery, demonic figure looms over, calling the protagonist a fool in a menacing tone. The protagonist is thrown into a chaotic, burning void, screaming in pain. The monstrous entity taunts him, saying he has wasted his potential and defied the heavens. Shocked, the protagonist recognizes the fiery figure as an old man he encountered before. A glowing red eye glares at him, declaring that he cannot change anything. A powerful strike is about to be unleashed as the entity demands something from the protagonist. In a sudden shift, a red-haired warrior engages in a sparring match, questioning the protagonist's distraction. A close-up of an intense eye suggests a moment of realization or awakening. The warrior and the protagonist exchange a powerful strike in their sparring match. The warrior skillfully disarms the protagonist, placing a sword near his neck. A nervous and defeated protagonist admits his surrender. The warrior questions his lack of focus, wondering if he is unwell. The protagonist hesitates, seeming lost in thought. He explains that his sleep has been disturbed for the past few days. Another warrior suggests that training together might help him recover. A group is seen engaging in intense strength training exercises, demonstrating their techniques. The protagonist, sweating nervously, awkwardly laughs and declines, saying he'll join next time. The protagonist announces an important update regarding their upcoming trip. The group rides through a scenic bamboo forest, heading toward their next destination. While traveling, the protagonist expresses his desire to visit Mount Seven Sages before heading to the Yeagle clan. He recalls reading about the mountain's rare 100-year-old ginseng and exclusive monkey wine. Two of his companions immediately get excited upon hearing about the monkey wine. Smirking, the protagonist teases them, mentioning their reputation as the two rising drunken ghosts. Before one of them can finish their sentence, they are interrupted by someone urgently calling for young Master Yang. The warrior warns that Mount Seven Sages is near demonic sect territory, which could be dangerous for their orthodox sect. The protagonist casually suggests they could disguise themselves as members of a different clan if needed. The warrior scolds the protagonist for suggesting a deceitful act, reminding him of the Tianzhong clan's honor. The protagonist, looking indifferent, questions whether such honor really matters. He asserts that survival is more important than pride, and even claims he would pose as a demonic sect member if necessary. One of the companions hesitates, questioning why their orthodox sect should fear the demonic sects, while another agrees with the protagonist's plan. The two excited warriors are teased about their true motivation drinking monkey wine, rather than the mission itself. The protagonist, in a seemingly emotional moment, expresses his wish to bring ginseng back for his parents and reflects on the trouble he has caused them. Seeing his sincerity, Warrior agrees to go to Mount Seven Sages. The group decides to stop at an inn to prepare for the journey, with the protagonist thanking them. However, in a chilling twist, the protagonist smirks in the final panel, revealing that he had been lying all along. The demonic poison stone flower, a rare and powerful plant, radiates a sinister purple aura. The flower is said to grow in a tomb-like place where poisonous insects gather to die, forming a crystal of poison over centuries. Occasionally, a seed falls onto the poison crystal, allowing the demonic flower to bloom. The seed absorbs the poison and demonic energy, transforming into the demonic poison stone flower. The protagonist realizes that this flower should be found in Mount Seven Sages, raising concerns. In a tavern, he overhears rumors of martial masters from demonic sects gathering near Mount Seven Sages. A shady informant whispers that rare medicines and the demonic poison stone flower have been discovered there. The protagonist is shocked, wondering how the entire world has learned about this secret. His companion warns that demonic masters are converging on Mount Seven Sages, making it a dangerous destination. The protagonist acknowledges that Instructor Mo is right, the demonic sect masters will inevitably fight over the flower. He smirks, realizing that he has no reason to interfere in their conflict. His true plan is to defeat Gachiak, the heir of the Serpent Dragon sect, who will be the last one to claim the flower. Gachiak is a powerful martial artist who rapidly advanced to peak level strength in just half a year. The protagonist views him as an ideal opponent to refine his own martial arts, subtly hinting at his demonic nature. Calmly sipping his drink, he remains unfazed by the warnings. Despite concerns, he insists on proceeding to Mount Seven Sages, shocking his companion. The companion argues that the demonic sect masters are already gathering, questioning his decision. The protagonist reveals that the Yeagle clan is likely involved, and it could be an opportunity to meet them. The warrior sighs in frustration, seemingly giving in to the protagonist's reckless plan. Reluctantly, they agree to avoid battles they cannot win, prioritizing survival. They bring up concerns about the two rising Ghostblades, possibly strong fighters they might encounter. The so-called rising Ghostblades are revealed to be drunk and passed out, completely useless at the moment. The protagonist shrugs, as if to say, well, that solves that problem. With a confident smirk, he promises not to go near dangerous martial artists, though his tone suggests otherwise. The warrior remains skeptical, giving him an unconvinced stare. The group decides to stay at the inn for now, likely to gather more information. The protagonist reflects that the area around Mount Seven Sages is chaotic and filled with danger, and acknowledges his current weakness in facing such threats. The protagonist smirks, believing that the true winner is the one who laughs last. He assigns his team to investigate inns run by the Serpent Dragon sect, looking for stables with many horses. Gachiak, the young sect leader, is preparing for battle with his men. Since they need fast movement, they require a stable full of horses. Even if Gachiak acquires the demonic poison stone flower, he must stop at an inn before securing it. The protagonist and his team arrive at an inn, preparing for their plan. Confidently, he predicts that Gachiak will come to them. A large group gathers at the inn, indicating an imminent confrontation. The protagonist and his muscular ally observe the situation from the balcony. A teammate playfully surprises the protagonist, asking what he's watching. A subordinate points out Gachiak approaching. Gachiak, the young sect leader of the Serpent Dragon sect, arrives. His unexpected appearance shocks the people around. The protagonist is confused, wondering why Gachiak is here instead of fighting for the treasure. He watches as Gachiak arrives with his men. Gachiak listens as someone whispers to him, looking serious. The protagonist struggles to hear their conversation. Gachiak reacts strongly to the information, clearly upset. Gachiak angrily reacts to the news he received. He orders his strongest forces to gather and prepare for a chase. His loud command makes it easy for the protagonist's ally to overhear. The protagonist decides to pursue them as well. A female ally warns that chasing demonic sects is too dangerous. She questions why he keeps getting involved in such risky situations. She mentions that great change is coming and they must grow stronger. The protagonist starts talking about the demonic poison stone flower. She argues that Jianghu is stable and doesn't need to rely on a mere herb. The protagonist asserts that they are indeed weak. He questions if she truly has no desire for power. He admits martial artists crave strength but acknowledges their current weakness. He declares his goal to obtain the demonic poison stone flower and protect their clan. He asks for trust and commands his followers to obey. The woman is surprised, realizing the protagonist has changed. She questions if she had underestimated him all along. His allies laugh, impressed by his determination. Yongwook and Namwook pledge their loyalty to follow his lead. The woman silently reflects on the protagonist's words. She acknowledges his determination and pledges to follow his will. However, she warns him that Jong-hu is not to be taken lightly. With his team ready, the protagonist confidently leads them forward. He affirms his understanding, having already experienced Jong-hu's dangers firsthand. The team arrives near the enemy's location, observing from a distance. They spot a large gathering of Serpent Dragon sect members. The protagonist is surprised by the overwhelming number of enemies. They realize the enemy is forming a large-scale battle formation. The protagonist confirms it's the inescapable net formation. One ally suggests moving now, but the protagonist wants to wait. He deduces that the enemy will act once they spot their real target. They decide to wait for the right moment to strike. Suddenly, something unexpected happens, catching the protagonist's attention. The group spots someone in the water, making a desperate plea for help. The protagonist deduces that the person is likely the one carrying the miracle medicine. He instructs them to wait near the river, as they suspect the target may head toward it instead of the woods. The protagonist explains that someone trying to escape would naturally seek the water over a wooded area. They find themselves at the riverbank, watching the scene unfold. The shouting stops, and they decide to remain as stealthy as possible. They spot the person in the water, still calling for help. Suddenly, the person is struck with an immense force of energy as their power erupts in a dramatic display. A group of warriors is gathered, discussing something serious. A powerful surge of dark energy erupts, causing destruction. The energy swirls violently, forming a terrifying presence. A mysterious old man, shrouded in dark energy, appears. The group recognizes him as the flying demonic blood lion. His aura is ominous, and they question if he is still strong. He was once among the top martial artists in the demonic world. However, he seems to be in a weakened state. He holds a rare, demonic poison stone flower in his hand. The protagonist realizes the old man possessed something important. The old man steps on water, causing powerful shockwaves. He turns back, holding the glowing purple flower. A group of warriors watches him from a distance. Their leader accuses him of killing their elite warriors. The old man mocks them, blaming the Tang clan for his situation. He becomes enraged, releasing dark energy, threatening to destroy them. The enemy leader calls him Flying Demonic Blood Lion. He pulls out an item and asks if the old man recognizes it. The old man is shocked by the 1,000-needle downpour technique. The enemy leader reveals he spent a lot to obtain this weapon. His men line up, preparing multiple weapons for an ambush. They surround the old man in the water, ready to attack. The old man, furious, glares at them with dark energy. He mocks their weapons, refusing to believe they can defeat him. Explosions light up the sky as the attack is launched. A massive fiery blast rains down towards him. The old man charges up, preparing a counterattack. The old man unleashes an intense surge of purple energy. Explosions erupt as the enemy attacks collide with his energy. A massive energy blast engulfs the battlefield. The protagonist senses something unusual and becomes alert. The explosion intensifies, stunning the onlookers. The old man still has immense Kai, shocking his enemies. He swiftly dodges an attack, showing his overwhelming speed. Laughing, he declares his superiority over them. The enemy leader smirks, seemingly unfazed. The enemy leader commands the second Serpent Dragon squad to attack. The old man soars through the air, evading multiple projectiles. A massive explosion engulfs him mid-air. A soldier declares that the Flying Demonic Blood Lion has fallen. The enemy leader orders his warriors to kill him and take the miracle medicine. More warriors descend, surrounding the fallen old man. Weakened but defiant, the old man smirks and declares they will never find the miracle medicine. a fierce warrior unleashes a devastating purple energy attack, vowing to drag his enemies to hell with him. The enraged warrior charges forward, striking down his enemies with immense power. Amidst the bloodshed, the warrior continues his relentless assault, cutting down anyone in his path. A deadly sword strike slices through an opponent, leaving nothing but blood and terror. A woman wipes her face, seemingly disturbed by the brutal scene unfolding before her. A horrifying battlefield drenched in blood reveals the aftermath of the warrior's massacre. The woman comments on the brutality, implying that the young master is inexperienced in the cruel world of Jianghu. The protagonist remains calm despite witnessing the sheer brutality before him, surprising the woman. A bloodied man, barely standing, emerges from the carnage, his strength seemingly at its limit. Surrounded by armed opponents, the wounded warrior stands in a pool of blood, prepared for what comes next. A furious man in a yellow robe orders his subordinates to search for the miracle medicine. The searchers desperately check a fallen body, only to realize that the medicine is missing. Frustrated, the leader yells at his men, insisting that the medicine must still be nearby. The protagonist watches from a distance before deciding to take action. A group of warriors dashes through the forest, moving at incredible speed. The protagonist leads the group in pursuit, confident that he knows where the miracle medicine is. The woman questions his theory, doubting his deduction. With glowing golden eyes, the protagonist deduces that the medicine was likely sent down the stream. He recalls a water barrier being formed earlier, suspecting it was meant to hide something rather than for defense. The protagonist deduces that the enemy let go of the miracle medicine during the battle, allowing it to sink into the water. He explains that by following the river, the enemy could retrieve the medicine later. As they chase after the medicine, an unexpected disturbance in the forest catches their attention. Realizing others may figure out the medicine's location soon, the protagonist urges his team to move faster. The miracle medicine, glowing with a purple aura, floats further downstream. As the medicine resurfaces, someone successfully spots and claims it. Multiple warriors rush to the scene, converging on the floating medicine. The protagonist retrieves the demonic poison stone flower, confirming its identity. Surrounded by allies, the protagonist carefully examines the medicine before making his next move. The protagonist prepares a vial of liquid while his muscular ally hands him a wooden box. He pours the mysterious liquid onto a white flower, testing its reaction. As the flower turns purple and emits a glow, he confirms that the substance is poison. He notes that carrying poison is frowned upon in orthodox martial arts, but is sometimes necessary. Using the poison, he plans to deceive others into mistaking the flower for the real demonic poison stone flower. Although the trick won't last long, it will buy them enough time to escape. His muscular ally expresses surprise at how easily they obtained the treasure without much effort. The protagonist smirks, attributing their success to luck. Just as he suggests leaving, an unexpected presence appears behind him. A dark-robed figure emerges, standing ominously close to him, hinting at an imminent confrontation. A sinister figure, radiating dark energy, fiercely declares ownership of the demonic poison stone flower, clutching it tightly while facing the protagonist's group. The young clan leader rushes to confront an enemy in the water. A shocked warrior realizes the presence of the flying demonic blood lion. A powerful strike sends a warrior flying backward with immense force. The warrior crashes into the ground, injured from the impact. Allies call out to the young clan leader as chaos unfolds. A furious elder holding a mysterious flower curses those who oppose him. The elder plans to absorb the flower's power slowly. His rage intensifies, vowing to tear apart everyone present. Dark energy surges as he prepares to drain their kai with blood. A powerful energy attack surges towards the swordswoman. She looks shocked, realizing the overwhelming power of her opponent. Her hands tremble, feeling the weight of fear for the first time. She acknowledges that this is her toughest fight yet. Her eyes widen in terror as she sees her enemy's overwhelming strength. The enemy charges, radiating dark energy and preparing to strike. She panics, realizing that she might actually die in this battle. She reflects, admitting she has always acted without thinking. She reveals how she earned the title of Ghostblade. Yongwook and Namwook declare themselves as the two rising Ghostblades. They vow to protect the young leader and defeat the flying demonic blood lion. She panics, warning them that their opponent is too powerful. They stand firm, ready to face their enemy. One smirks, revealing that their opponent has just consumed poison. She is shocked, realizing the hidden strategy at play. The truth is revealed: the young clan leader swapped the flower with a poisoned one. They strategize, knowing their enemy is weakened, and that stalling gives them a chance. The warriors advance, ready to strike their weakened opponent. They launch an attack, rushing toward the enemy at full speed. The enemy smirks, impressed that they chose to fight instead of running. His body surges with power, his hand crackling with energy. His monstrous strength shatters the ground with just a movement. His entire body transforms, overflowing with raw, destructive energy. A blinding golden aura erupts. The soaring dragon Emperor's sword is unleashed. A fiery clash begins, with immense power shaking the battlefield. She watches tensely, eyes glowing with determination and fear. The enemy roars, charging in a furious attack. His expression darkens, realizing the danger. He is struck, sent flying by a powerful attack. The battlefield quiets, the fight reaching its climax. He coughs up blood, feeling the effects of the poison. He realizes too late that he has been poisoned. He questions whether the Tang clan was behind it. He tries to understand what kind of poison is affecting him. His enemies stand ready, prepared to finish the battle. The enemy grits his teeth, furious at being tricked. He roars in anger, vowing to crush his enemies. Despite his rage, he coughs up blood, weakened. The warriors observe, knowing he is reaching his limit. She stays focused, believing they just need to hold on. Her eyes widen, sensing something ominous. The enemy starts laughing, his eerie chuckle echoing. His laughter grows, as if he has realized something. His face darkens, preparing for a final move. An old man looks furious, clenching his hand in anger. He is shocked that nameless warriors could challenge him. He realizes something impossible has happened, his eye glowing red. With dark energy surrounding him, he vows to take the demonic poison stone flower. He charges forward with intense speed as his enemies prepare to counter. A fierce clash erupts as the warrior strikes him. The warrior swiftly dodges using a technique called shifting step. The warrior gets struck hard, his face distorting from the impact. The old man charges forward with incredible speed. A powerful dark attack clashes against the warrior. The warrior panics, realizing there's no way to dodge. A devastating sword strike cuts through the battlefield, blood flying. The enemy smirks, his glowing eyes filled with sinister intent. The protagonist coughs up blood, struggling to breathe. He sits on the ground, wounded and exhausted. He realizes that the flying demonic blood lion sacrificed its life essence to chase him. He tries to move, but is too weak to get up. His body refuses to respond despite his will to move. A flashback shows him with his comrades, hinting at his past in Jianghu. A voice mocks him, reminding him of his past arrogance. His eyes widen in shock as he senses something unexpected. He touches his forehead, surprised to see blood on his hands. A dark force demands control over the protagonist's body. He realizes that something dangerous has been inside him all along. He recalls the energy of an old man he met before regressing. He remembers using this power before in a past battle. The sinister force continues to whisper, asking for his body. He feels the power trying to take control of him. He fears that closing his eyes might let it consume him. His teeth clench as he struggles against the dark energy. His eyes burn with intensity as he questions whether to rely on this power again. Someone calls out to Yong, urging him to resist the power. The dark force demands his body, but he refuses, yelling in defiance. He clenches his hand, declaring that his body belongs to him. He takes control, unleashing his own power. He rejects the dark force, calling it a mere phantom of the past. His determination burns as he vows to protect those he cares about. He dashes forward, ready for battle. A bright energy explosion erupts ahead. He swings his sword with full force, launching a devastating attack. The protagonist slices off the enemy's arm with his sword. The wounded enemy retreats across the water. The enemy, furious and in pain, shouts in anger. The protagonist stands within a swirling red aura, exuding immense power. The enemy, shocked, questions how he possesses this energy. The enemy vomits blood, severely injured. The protagonist recognizes the same ominous energy from before. A man smirks as he welcomes the young clan leader. The group discusses how the flying demonic blood lion is poisoned and weakened. The wounded enemy struggles, realizing he will soon collapse. The protagonist declares his first order as the heir of the clan. He commands his allies to survive, standing with determination. The enemy reflects on the countless mysteries he has encountered. Despite his experiences, he admits he still cannot comprehend the current situation. The enemy stands before them, making a final declaration. He solemnly announces that he will forfeit his survival. The protagonist and his allies prepare for battle. The enemy is shocked, questioning how the protagonist gained his power. The enemy taunts him, ready to unleash his dark energy. The group stands together, ready to face their opponent. The enemy leaps into the air, radiating immense power, while the group rushes to confront him. The enemy realizes the danger and curses in frustration. A warrior charges forward, shocked that the old man used his life essence. He sees an open clearing ahead as he rushes forward. The warriors dash through the forest, determined to reach their target. They arrive at the battlefield, witnessing the remnants of a devastating technique. One of the warriors reports that they have found their target. They stand over a lifeless body on the battlefield. The old man lies dead, his body surrounded by blood. The leader asks about the flower, looking serious. One of the men hesitates, sweating nervously. The furious man threatens to behead someone if the item is missing. The nervous man confirms that the item is gone. Enraged, the man raises his sword to attack. The scared man cowers, covering his head in fear. The angry man glares down at him, controlling his rage. Suddenly, he senses something and turns around, gripping his sword. He wonders who dared to fight the flying demonic blood lion. His anger intensifies as he realizes the demonic poison stone flower was stolen.